The first one is that open competitive bidding leads to best value procurement. When I speak about open competitive bidding here, I am talking about market access. I am not talking about transparency. Transparency is critical. In public procurement policy and the harmonization movement that started post-1990, there's been a revolution in the understanding of the function of procurement globally. It used to be considered a back office administrative transactional function, a subset of finance. There was a movement to it being considered a more regulated, rules-based function, and this is 80s and more particularly in the early 90s. And in that time, you saw a move by the World Trade Organization, the UN, the IMF, which Mr. Williams will be very familiar with, all of them coming together, and there was a package of policies that started to be promoted globally as the policies that would promote development best in developing countries. In that package of policies in early 1990 was public procurement policy. And embedded in those public procurement policies were the rules that the objective of those policies were to integrate developing countries into this global economy. And therefore, the public procurement rules had at its underpinning trade liberalization. And you only have to go as far as the recitals of the agreements, of the protocols, to see that the objectives of these organizations, the WTO, the UN Model Law on Procurement of Goods, Works, and Services, was trade liberalization and open market access. There was the whole thinking that the market will bring the best result for an economy and help us develop. The bottom line, this is what we're looking for. Open competition will do that. And therefore, when you look at the rules that are being proposed to developing countries under the UN Model Law, under the World Trade Organization Government Procurement Agreement, all the underpinning of it is that we must open our markets to competition. If we sit in the Caribbean and just accept what we read in the textbooks written not for us, and we negotiate agreements that do not serve us, without us being robust in our approach to these issues, we're going to end up in a situation exactly as is starting to happen globally, where there is increasing inequality between the developed world and the developing world. International trade policies being promoted, post the Washington Consensus, that's what they called it. When in Washington, all of these US-based institutions came together and said, we need to promote these kinds of restrictive macroeconomic policies and reduce import tariffs and trade liberalization and privatization and deregulation and all of that. He said that what in fact the industrial nations were doing there by promoting these for the developing world was kicking away the same ladder that they went up to reach where they reach. Because the truth is, and I challenge you to look at any country that has had significant industrial success, there is not one industrial country, one industrialized economy that got that way from open market access. Open competitive bidding suggests that we must open up our markets to all of the foreign suppliers and all of that. That is closing our eyes to the fact that, and this is not the old free trade protectionism argument as well. I know they're going to try to say, you're talking about protectionism. To a certain extent, yes, because all those countries have done it and continue to this day to do it. The whole concept of infant protecting infant industries came from the US, the so-called free market capital of the world. They are the masters of protectionism. They tout Singapore and Hong Kong as, look at that, they went into the free market, look how well they did. But they went into the free market in a very balanced way, with significant state controls. And these are the things we need to argue. Yes, the free market is good. There's no way we can argue that it is not good. And in certain goods, works, and services where all you are concerned about is the lowest price, then yeah, you may want to open up your markets to that. But we have to be more strategic to know that there are some industries, based on where we are in Trinidad and in Tobago, there are some industries that we may want to nurture so that we can then have companies that will export, generate foreign exchange, and develop, and that's how we integrate. We need to, in public procurement in particular, have a starting position where social impact in our countries is part of the formula when we determine what is best value. Not just lowest price and highest quality. I would like to add another part to that formula. Lowest price, highest quality, and greatest social impact. Demonstrate your social impact. So one of the things that we are trying to promote is it's not about free trade versus protectionism, but it's about the strategic use of public procurement policy in a way that even if you're bringing in a foreign company to perform a contract, in your procurement conditions, stipulate that they're going to be measured and evaluated, not only in terms of lowest price and best quality, but what's the social impact you are leaving in the country.